Hi, I'm Maverick. 3 months ago, I was a senior project manager at Horizon Construction, with a corner office overlooking the city skyline. Now I'm sitting in a wheelchair in my friend Derek's spare bedroom, staring at the ceiling fan spinning endlessly above me. You need anything, Mav? Derek leaned against the door frame, concern etched across his weathered face. Just some dignity, but I don't think you can pick that up at the pharmacy, I replied, attempting a smile that felt more like a grimace. Laura called again, Derek said, hesitating. She wants to know when you're coming home. I laughed without humor. Funny how she didn't mention that when she was packing her bags 3 weeks ago. People panicked, man. It was bad. Maybe she just needed time to process everything. I turned to face him. Process what exactly? That her husband fell from a building site and shattered his spine? Or that insurance would only cover 80% of my medical bills? Derek sighed and sat on the edge of the bed. You should talk to her. And Cassie, too. Your daughter's confused, Mav. I tried calling Cassie yesterday. She hung up when I mentioned visiting. I closed my eyes, remembering my 16-year-old daughter's cold voice. Said she's too busy with school activities. Teenagers, man. They don't know how to handle this stuff. Neither does my 42-year-old wife, apparently, I said. Did I tell you what she said the day before she left? She was arguing with the insurance company, and I heard her in the kitchen. You don't understand. I can't be expected to care for him forever. This isn't what I signed up for. Derek winced. That's rough, but... Then Cassie chimed in that she couldn't deal with having a dad who can't even walk her down the aisle someday. Like that's all I'm good for. The doorbell rang, interrupting our conversation. Derek excused himself to answer it. Moments later, my physical therapist, Sophia, entered, her perpetual smile somehow never seeming forced. Ready to work, Maverick? She asked, setting down her bag of torture devices. As I'll ever be, I replied, already dreading the pain to come. Your neighbor Elena is here too, Derek called from the hallway. Says she has some papers from Laura. My stomach tightened as Elena walked in, envelope in hand. Elena had been our neighbor for 8 years and Laura's closest friend. Hey, Mav, she said softly. How are you doing? Just living the dream, I replied. What's in the envelope? Divorce papers? Elena's expression confirmed my suspicion before she even spoke. She wanted me to explain. She's moving to Seattle with Cassie. Roger offered her a position at his company. Roger, Laura's boss. The pieces suddenly clicked into place. How long? I asked, my voice surprisingly steady. Elena looked down. What do you mean? How long have they been seeing each other? Derek cursed under his breath. Sophia busied herself with her equipment. It's not what you think, Elena started. Don't insult me, I cut her off. Just tell me how long my wife has been sleeping with her boss while I've been learning how to use a wheelchair. 6 months, Elena finally admitted. Before your accident. I wanted to tell you, but Laura said, 6 months, I repeated, a strange calm washing over me. So the accident was just a convenient excuse to leave. She's not a bad person, Mav, Elena said weakly. She just couldn't handle it all. And my daughter? She's okay with her mother's affair? Elena shifted uncomfortably. Cassie doesn't know about Roger. Laura told her it was a fresh start for both of them. I nodded slowly, a plan already forming. Thank you for your honesty, Elena. Would you mind leaving those papers on the desk? Sophia and I have some work to do. After Elena left, Sophia approached cautiously. We can reschedule if... No, I said firmly, pushing myself up straighter in my chair. We're doing this now. And tomorrow, we're doubling the session. Derek raised an eyebrow. What are you thinking, Mav? I looked between my oldest friend, the therapist who believed in me, and the divorce papers that represented the betrayal of my family. I'm thinking it's time I stood up for myself, I said, literally and figuratively. Daniel, I need everything you can find on Roger Whitman at Apex Development, I said into my phone while pushing my wheelchair through the park 3 weeks later. Your wife's boss, the guy she left with? Daniel, my former colleague and the company's IT specialist, sounded hesitant. Mav, are you sure about this? I'm not doing anything illegal, just due diligence before I sign these divorce papers, I replied, stopping to watch a father teaching his daughter to ride a bike. The sight stung. Fine, but this conversation never happened, Daniel said. I'll call you back. I hung up as Sophia approached, clipboard in hand. 6 weeks into our therapy sessions, and I could now stand with support for short periods. Ready for good news? She asked, sitting beside me on a bench. Always. Based on your progress, I think you'll be walking with crutches within 2 months. Your determination is remarkable. I smiled genuinely. I have motivation. Revenge isn't healthy motivation, Maverick, she said gently. It's not revenge. It's justice, I corrected. There's a difference. My phone rang, Daniel calling back already. That was quick, I answered. Because it was easy, Daniel said, excitement in his voice. Roger's been cooking Apex's books for years, moving money between projects, inflating costs, classic embezzlement. My heart raced. You're sure? I found discrepancies in the last 3 development projects he managed, including yours. The accident that injured you? The safety equipment was substandard. Roger approved cheaper materials than what was in the budget. I gripped the phone tighter. So my accident might have been preventable if he hadn't cut corners. There's a whistleblower hotline for the Industry Regulatory Board. Anonymous tips welcome. After hanging up, I explained everything to Sophia, whose expression darkened. That's criminal negligence, she said. You could sue both him and the company. I need more evidence first, I replied, and I need to talk to Cassie. Later that evening, after multiple ignored calls, Cassie finally answered. Dad, I can't talk long. We're having dinner with Roger, she said, her voice oddly formal. I just want to know how you're doing, I said, fighting to keep my tone casual. Fine, Seattle's cool. My new school has a better drama program. And you're okay with how things ended between us? You never even said goodbye. Silence filled the line. Then, Mom said it would be easier this way. Easier for whom, Cassie? Not for me. You don't understand how hard it was seeing you like that, she whispered. I couldn't handle it. I'm still your father, regardless of whether I can walk. Mom says we need to move forward. Roger's really nice and... Does he make your mom happy? I interrupted. I guess. She smiles more now. Her words cut deeper than she could know. Cassie, I'm making progress in therapy. I might be walking soon. That's good, she said without enthusiasm. Look, I have to go. Wait, does your mom still have my external hard drive? The black one with all our family photos? Yeah, it's in her office. Why? It has some work files I need. Could you mail it to me? I'll ask her, she said dubiously. Bye, Dad. I love you, Cassie, I said, but she had already hung up. Derek entered the room carrying pizza. Any luck? Some, I replied. I need to make one more call. I dialed Elena's number. Despite delivering my divorce papers, she'd been checking on me regularly, guilt driving her concern. Elena, I need a favor, and I promise it's nothing that will hurt anyone. 2 months later, I stood on crutches outside Apex Development's Seattle headquarters, dressed in my best suit. Daniel stood beside me, carrying a leather portfolio. You don't have to do this in person, he said. The regulatory board and police have everything they need. Yes, I do, I replied, adjusting my tie. Some things need to be said face to face. The receptionist's eyes widened as I approached her desk. Can I help you? Maverick Collins to see Roger Whitman. I believe my wife Laura works for him as well. Do you have an appointment? He'll want to see me, I assured her. Tell him it's about Project Horizon. 10 minutes later, we were escorted to Roger's corner office. Laura was there too, her face draining of color when she saw me standing on crutches. Maverick, she gasped, you're walking. Amazing what determination can do, I replied coolly. Hello, Roger. We've never formally met. I'm the man whose life you stole, in more ways than one. Roger, a polished man in his 50s, maintained his composure. Mr. Collins, I understand you're upset, but... Upset doesn't begin to cover it, I interrupted. 6 months, Laura? While I was working overtime on his projects, you were working overtime with him? Laura flinched. It wasn't planned. It just happened. Nothing just happens for 6 months, I countered. And then, when I had my accident, an accident that could have been prevented if your boyfriend hadn't cut corners on safety equipment, you abandoned me. Roger stood abruptly. That's a serious accusation. It is, Daniel interjected, opening his portfolio, which is why the Industry Regulatory Board and SEC are very interested in these documents. Laura looked between us, confused. What documents? Roger? What is he talking about? Your boyfriend has been embezzling funds for years, I explained, including money earmarked for safety equipment on my project. That's absurd, Roger scoffed, but his complexion had turned ashen. The police have already executed a search warrant at your home office, Roger, I continued. The external hard drive in Laura's possession contains backup copies of all the files you thought you deleted. Elena retrieved it last month. Laura turned to Roger. Is this true? Of course not, he snapped, but his eyes betrayed him. The funds transferred to your Cayman account say otherwise, Daniel added. A knock at the door interrupted us. Two men in suits entered, showing badges. Roger Whitman, we're with the FBI. We need you to come with us. As the agents led Roger away, Laura sank into a chair. Maverick, I had no idea. Save it, I cut her off. I'm not here for reconciliation. The company is being investigated, which means your position is likely gone. I've filed a personal injury lawsuit against Roger and Apex. Given the evidence, my lawyer expects a substantial settlement. What about us? What about Cassie? Laura asked, her voice small. You made your choice clear when you left me at my lowest point, I replied. As for Cassie, I'll always be her father, but she chose to leave too. Actions have consequences, Laura. It's time you both learned that lesson. As I turned to leave, Laura called after me. I'm sorry, Maverick. I was weak and selfish. Can you ever forgive me? I paused at the door. Forgiveness isn't in the cards, Laura, but thanks for making me realize I'm stronger than I ever knew. In the matter of Collins versus Apex development, the judge announced, this court finds in favor of the plaintiff. I stood with just my cane, Vanessa beside me as the settlement was detailed, enough to cover all medical expenses, lost wages, and future care, with substantial punitive damages. Outside the courtroom, Cassie approached hesitantly. Congratulations, Dad, she said awkwardly. Thank you for coming, I replied, the gulf between us palpable. Mom told me everything about Roger, the affair, why you got hurt. She looked down. I'm sorry I didn't believe in you. You were 16, Cassie. You trusted your mother. That's no excuse, she insisted. I said terrible things. I abandoned you when you needed support. I nodded. Yes, you did. Can we start over? Maybe I could visit sometimes? Hope tinged her voice. I'm not the same person I was, Cassie. The accident changed me. I understand if you hate me, she whispered. I don't hate you, but trust is earned, not given. Laura approached next, keeping distance. The settlement is fair. You deserve every penny. It was never about the money, I replied. I know, she admitted. It was about accountability, something I failed at. She hesitated. Roger's been sentenced to 12 years. Justice served, I said simply. Maverick, is there any chance we could— No, I said firmly. That chapter is closed for good. She nodded. You look well, strong. I am, stronger than either of you gave me credit for. Derek and Sophia waited nearby. As I walked toward them, Vanessa caught up. Speaking of rebuilding, Derek said, did you tell Maverick about the job offer? Sophia smiled. The rehabilitation center needs a patient advocate, someone who understands having your life changed in an instant. I recommended you. Me? Working with accident victims? Who better? Derek asked. You've been through hell and came out standing. Later, celebrating at Derek's apartment, Derek raised his glass. To justice. And to new beginnings, Sophia added, her hand briefly touching mine. What about Laura and Cassie? Vanessa asked. Will you let them back into your life? Some betrayals leave permanent scars, but I won't let what they did define my future. So, what's next for Maverick Collins? Derek asked. I looked around at these people who had stood by me when my own family hadn't. I think I'll help others find their strength, just like I found mine. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting better. And living well? Sophia suggested. Exactly. Living well and leaving the past where it belongs, behind me. Do you think someone who's been betrayed can truly move forward without forgiveness? Share your thoughts in the comments below.